Veterans are feeling let down with President Biden's chaotic withdrawal from Afghanistan. I recently spoke with retired service members who served there, and they had a lot to say.
There's 4 grown men sitting here. We only got 5 legs. So that's extra skin in the game, you know what I mean?
My heart and my mind has been totally consumed with the families of the victims of the blast. To know those families are hurting in the way that I know they are, it just, man, it hurts.
How did it feel to have a Marine general be the one to address the nation and talk about the Taliban the way he did the day we left?
It's disgusting. It's impossible to have a positive emotion about this whole experience.
You can catch my entire interview this weekend on the Big Saturday and the Big Sunday show at 5 p.m. Eastern. All right, Dagan, do veterans from Afghanistan, do they have a right to feel betrayed by this president?
They have a right to feel betrayed or any way they might feel by what they have had to just witness in the last few weeks. And I think the American people feel for them, that we're united in trying to support them. Everybody I know immediately texting, phone calls to people they knew who had served, and just made it a point. And I feel like folks realize that they need to do that with everybody who has served this country. But I think we are stronger as a nation because we've been able to come together in this moment of just grief and rage, quite frankly.
Those 3 veterans I sat down with, they all served in different ways, 2 different services, 3 different jobs. The one there that got choked up, that's Amos Benjamin. His brother Adam Benjamin served with me. He's a Gold Star brother and a Purple Heart recipient. I mean, this war's taking its toll on him. There have been 2,300 deaths in this war. We had 13 of them last week, along with almost 200 Afghans. Shannon, do you think that maybe we haven't even had a chance to process how catastrophic that single event was? I mean, that's why Amos is choked up. Those 13 lives, and not just reflecting on the war, but that single event. And I feel like the politics of it, we haven't even appreciated how catastrophic that day was.
Yeah. And it's been good to see a lot of people speak out publicly and say, if you know a veteran, reach out to them, check on them, see how they're feeling, because a lot of people feel like that single event, the 20 years was so brutal and so much was lost. But that event felt very preventable to a lot of people, like it did not have to happen. So we could not owe you and all of our veterans a bigger debt, and to be checking in to see how you're feeling. It will take time, I'm sure, to process all of this. But what's been amazing to me is that so many of the people who are there fighting, and that I'm hearing back channeling from, I'm sure you are, I'm sure everybody at this table is, they're veterans. They're people who are risking their own lives and everything they have, every connection they have, their own money to go back and try to get people out. They're being arrested and stopped by the Taliban. They're truly continuing to risk. That's why our veterans, I think, are the true heroes among us, and we don't agree on that.
Well, they're my heroes. That's why I wanted to serve among them. Sean, you were in Congress. We've ended this war. We're talking about administrations. What can Congress do to make sure we don't get in this again? Or could they have done anything?
Well, listen, I think it's important to take a look. We have troops all over the world. We send people on missions all the time. But I think with Afghanistan, a lot of members of Congress and the country lost focus on the fight and the war and the purpose of the war. And I think it's important that if you're going to send men and women into harm's way, you never forget their missions. And you continually analyze and review to go, what are we here to accomplish? What is the cost in life and treasure, and make decisions from there. And I think this is a message to the Congress to always stay tuned with the money that you send and the men that you send into these conflicts. And for me, I mean, 4 guys and 5 legs. I mean, that is horrific. I've got a buddy in Hayward, Wisconsin, lumberjack world champion, log run world champion. J.R. Salzman was hit by a roadside bomb as well, lost half of his arm, came back after and won the log rolling world title. I mean, guys, you guys are great and amazing, but the consequence of the war has been cataclysmic, and the way we've left, I think, make a lot of veterans really angry, because the question becomes, for what? What was the end goal here?
Jessica, when President Biden stands up there and he invokes our mental health as justification for his decisions, not to withdraw, but his entire last 2 weeks. I mean, isn't that a little bit tone deaf? Doesn't he understand what seeing 13 veterans killed and feeling helpless to go help? I mean, isn't that what's bothering our mental health? Does he not see the connection there?
I cannot suppose to understand in any great depth the experience that you've had, those men who you were talking to, or the people who continue to serve for us, and we're also thankful for that. I think everyone needs to, we do this thing where you quarterback everything, like on Twitter, on social media, right? And there are always those jokes the morning after something terrible happens, like, oh, I didn't realize we all woke up foreign policy experts, or we all woke up, veterans. But there's really one group that stands out from the rest of the we woke up as groups, and it's veterans. And you've noticed it in the coverage, that every time, no matter what the opinion is of the person who's doing the interview, if they hear from a veteran what they're feeling and it's running counter to what the host thinks, what the administration thinks, you just shut up. Because it's an experience that none of us can even touch, and that will be with you for the rest of your life. And that's why I think it's so important that we have people who served, continue to serve, and they serve in Washington. They serve in these incredible organizations, private organizations that have gotten people out that would not have gotten out in the first place. And just a tremendous amount of respect and thanks to you and those men you interviewed and everyone else who serves.
You're just going to see, and you already are, a lot of veterans running for public office.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. And I think that's the untold
about
story.
that. But
are
even
the veterans
more.
that got people out of Afghanistan, that mobilized. And I've got a buddy over there still right now. I've heard from him in 4 days. And I think he's all right, but he's probably doing God's work.
Can you tell us more about what we'll hear this weekend?
So, these three veterans, one of them is the nephew of George W. Bush and the grandson of George H.W. Bush, and he's the most normal Bush I've ever met. And I've only met one other that was president. But his name's Walker
George W.
Bush.
Bush was not normal?
I'm saying I met him, and he goes, "How's your head?" Because he was doing the whole Drop the D campaign. And then you have Amos Benjamin, that's a Gold Star brother, and then you have Chad Fleming, who's a real Jason Bourne style character. I mean, this guy was an amputee in war, and just everything about Chad is leadership and push through it. And they come from different places. And you'll watch the interview, and they kind of have their head hung the whole time. It's a tough thing, but they have some inspiring words by the end.
Look forward to it.
On behalf of veterans, thank you all for your support. It means a lot. It really does.
I'm praying on it. Pray on it every day.
Yep.
No, Shannon Bream over there does too.
I'm with you.
You can catch my entire interview this weekend on the Big Saturday and the Big Sunday show at 5 p.m. Eastern.